The Philadelphia Eagles have had a great offseason, all things considered, and one veteran can be the final piece to completing that offseason. This player is now doubling down on his interest in reuniting with Vic Fangio in Philadelphia. The question is, does it make sense for the Birds? Well, today we will talk about why it's starting to feel like more of a when, not if scenario. And also, one Eagles rookie is impressing everybody after rookie minicamp. We'll break it all down. Welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do me a favor, like this video, go down below, and subscribe to our channel. Appreciate everybody staying tapped in. And we started off with Jalen Hurts and Randall Cunningham. Okay, former Eagles quarterback Randall Cunningham texted Jalen Hurts a few hours after he won the Super Bowl saying, quote, "What I did not fulfill, I am fulfilling through you." And I think that garners a lot of respect. I'm not old enough to have watched all of the Randall Cunningham years here in Philadelphia, but I can certainly appreciate the history and his legacy and all the great things he did for the Birds. And you know what? For an older guy, a retired player, to come back and say these types of things, I think it's really special. You know, there's a lot of retired players who don't like the new generation or the new era of players. And you know, sometimes they get jealous and things like that. So to hear Randall Cunningham be this genuine and admit how happy he is for Jalen Hurts and really just give him that full support, I think it means the world, man. It really does. And I believe Jalen Hurts is going to do a lot more great things here in Philadelphia. But speaking of doing great things, it all starts next year, ladies and gentlemen, because Howie Roseman has done great work this offseason, and he has not only helped this team get ready to run it back next year and maybe try to win another Super Bowl, but they have now set up a window for the next several years. And in the short term, they have to be wanting to get it done the same way that they want to in the long term. And they have one piece right now who is dying to come to Philadelphia that can help be a part of that this season. That is Justin Simmons. We have talked about him in the past, but we have to revisit because Brian Baldinger, who does a lot of NFL stuff, a lot of draft breakdowns and film breakdowns and just everything covering the league. He does a great job, puts out a lot of content about the Eagles. Said this about Justin Simmons this week, quote, "He wants to be in Philadelphia. Just find him a house in South Jersey. He's going to be here." So I don't know if I've heard a reporter or anybody else around the league in a long time come out and be this confident that a player is going to be in Philadelphia. He knows something we don't. They must have had some type of convos. Justin Simmons wants to be in Midnight Green. The question is, can they make the financials work? Ladies and gentlemen, I take it back a couple months ago because we had talked about this topic, and this is what Justin Simmons had said on the Kay Adams Show. Take a listen.
The Eagles, though, I mean, how much does the connection with Fangio and Christian Parker, by the way, the DB's coach, how much does that help and tilt the scale a little bit? Be honest.
Yeah, it really does. Like, as honest as I can be, like, I'm a lot of it too. Going back to your question earlier about Atlanta, like, there was a lot of new, right? There's a new system. There's a new way to do it. Like, going to Philly with Vic, you know exactly what you're getting out of me, and I know exactly what I'm getting out of them because I've been in the system. I still have a ways to go to mastering it, but there's some things and nuances that I know that Vic likes, that I know that Christian Parker likes, and I think I could really help in that area.
Listen, man, I just said that I haven't heard a reporter be that confident in a player wanting to come to Philadelphia in a long time. I don't think I've heard a player be this outright in saying, I want to be in Philadelphia. And when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles and what they just did in re-signing Dallas Goedert and making that work, right? You think about right guard, but other than that, there's one other position that the Eagles need to solidify, and that is starting safety. They traded CJ Gardner-Johnson, who was 27 years old. He was the leader of that room. Reed Blankenship's only 26 years old. He's been in the league for 3 years. He's done a pretty damn good job for this Birds team. But having a veteran to come in and fulfill those shoes, I think would really help this team out. Now, again, the Eagles go out late second round. They draft Andrew Makuba. Can he be ready from day one? Maybe. Maybe he comes into training camp and he's flying all around the field, high energy guy, pretty good tackler, and you know, he's making all kinds of plays and he's ready to start from day one. That would be the dream scenario. But if we think back to last year, right, even a guy like Cooper DeJean, who was projected to be a late first-round pick, slipped into the second. Howie went up and got him. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean did great work for this Eagles team, helped them win a Super Bowl. Is Andrew Makuba in the late second round ready to do that? Some guys had him projected as a third-round pick, a fourth-round pick. So we don't really know. We have to wait and see. But adding more veteran leadership and adding a guy like this who not only wants to be in Philly, but is familiar with the system makes way too much sense. Now, a couple things you want to know about Justin Simmons. He's a 4-time second-team All-Pro. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He actually made the Pro Bowl 2 years ago, and he played his whole career with Denver. He played last year with Atlanta, and he was signed really late, and I was surprised that he was on the market that long. Signed a 1-year, $7.5 million contract. But the thing is, like I said, you have to make the financials work, because when you think about C.J. Gardner-Johnson, his cap hit for this upcoming season was only $9 million, right? And the Eagles are trying to find those patch it up type of players. That way they can move forward and eventually pay their young guys. So they were willing to part with CJ because they didn't want to have to go through the whole contract negotiations after this season. Justin Simmons is more of a short-term plug and play, bring him in, 1-year deal. I would expect there to be not a lot of guaranteed money, right? Maybe some incentive money. Look at what they just did with Dallas Goedert. They go from $14.2 million down to $10 with $1 million in incentives. So if Justin Simmons is willing to take that pay cut and willing to sacrifice to come here and try to make the roster and help this team win, I think it makes a lot of sense. Vic Fangio coached Denver for 3 years, and guess who was there? Justin Simmons, and he was playing some of his best ball on a team that really wasn't that good. Christian Parker, the Eagles DB's coach, was also with Vic Fangio. So like he said, a lot of connections and ties, and whereas Atlanta was a really new destination for him and he had to learn all of this new system, terms, things like that, he would be a seamless fit in Vic Fangio's system. And I think it makes a lot of sense, even if he's not the day one starter, because he's a great locker room guy. Yes, he's a great tackler and all those kinds of things, and he puts up the numbers. I mean, we look back a couple years ago, he had 6 interceptions, NFL co-leader in INTs with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, to be funny enough. But this guy's put up the numbers for a long time, really good player. The only thing you have to worry about is that he's getting older. He'll be 32 years old this season. How much is he really going to make? I'll tell you what, it has to be less than the 7.5 that he made last year with Atlanta. So we'll see. But at this point, he is advocating to come here, and it makes way too much sense for the Eagles. Let me know if you agree or disagree down below. Now, one guy who's a lot newer on the radar is Myles Hinton, 6th-round pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. He started 10 games at Michigan at left tackle, and he was an honorable mention All Big Ten last year, 6'6", 324 pounds. From what the NFL draft experts are saying, I went back, I looked at his scouting reports and all those types of things. This guy has the traits, he has the attributes, but he hasn't put it all together yet. And that is a perfect representation for what I like to call a Stoutland University student. Here's Jeff Stoutland's reaction to the Eagles drafting Myles Hinton in the 6th round. They put out a behind-the-scenes clip where you can hear Howie and some of the draft scouts and all those guys talking about certain players and prospects, and a lot of them brought up Myles Hinton, and when they drafted him, Jeff Stoutland looked like he was ready to throw a parade. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy's huge. He's got pretty good arms. His father was also a really good player. 7-time Pro Bowler was Chris Hinton, and at rookie minicamps, obviously Ty Robinson was the talk of the town. We made a piece of content a few days ago talking about him. I think he could honestly start day one, but Myles Hinton is more of a project, a developmental player. And if you're thinking about a guy who could maybe be the swing tackle this year, a guy who maybe could fulfill the shoes of Lane Johnson way, way down the line. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Lane Johnson, but just look at the attributes. Like, they're very similar. So I think you stash this guy, you let Stoutland go to work, do his thing, and if he becomes a beast in a couple years, wonderful. If he doesn't, no problem. It's a 6th-round pick. But the way that he handled himself, the way that he was talking to these reporters, and I really liked how he said that his father never pressured him to play football, right? This is his desire. He wants to do it. He has a brother in the NFL. It just seemed very genuine. He seems like he has a really good personality. He knows how to talk and handle himself, and I think this guy could be a beast in a couple years. And a couple reporters put out tweets saying that he seems like he has that star mentality, like a guy who went way under the radar and is going to be a beast. So that's all we know for now, but Myles Hinton compares himself to his father. He says pretty much his father was super strong and explosive, and he feels like he's the same type of player. So I'm excited. I think this kid could be really good, and he's got the experience in college. So we'll see what happens down the road. Lastly, one guy who's already really good, Jalen Carter, receives his first team All-Pro trophy from the NFL Players Association. I think we knew Jalen Carter was going to be a stud, and we were all ecstatic when Howie traded up for him, but this guy's already better than expected, and he is an integral part of a Super Bowl winning team. And you want to know why they're trading vets and trying to get cheaper at positions? Because this guy is going to sign the dotted line in less than a year, and he's going to be one of the richest players in the NFL. That is why. He's a beast. Shout out to Jalen Carter, and appreciate everything he's done for this team so far. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts down below. Should the Eagles go out and sign Justin Simmons? Give me your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.